The
Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid, the venue for the showdown for Real Madrid against UEFA Cup finalists Alaves, and Real, knowing that results going their way could lead them to a championship. 27 titles prior to this one, and on a marvellous night in Madrid, weather-wise, Real Madrid started with this lineup: Cesar Salgado, Roberto Carlos, Hierro, Carranca, Helguera, Makelele, Figo, Savio, Guti and Raul. Steve McManaman, along with Munitis and Ivan Campo on the bench. 99 goals in the Spanish league for Hierro. Alaves, who were involved in a tremendous UEFA Cup final, which they lost thanks to an own goal by Jali, number 7 there, against Liverpool. Well, the banners tell you 28 is what they're after. That's number of titles. And Real Madrid attacking the goal away to our left in the first half against Alaves in a match which is being billed as a championship winning night for Real. Their last title 4 years ago, when Fabio Capello, now very much in the hot seat in Rome, was in charge. And with the troubles for Barcelona, it's been an even better season for Real Madrid, with the exception of their defeat by Bayern Munich in the semi-final of the Champions League. Figo with a cross and the header. Well, they've started well. Raul getting in behind the defender and just heading over. Figo the instigator again. Good cross this. And Raul getting there over the bar. 19 minutes gone. Again Figo dominating. Still Figo. Great run from Figo! Oh, he's hit the inside of the post and it's come out. And Herrera makes a save. Figo thought he'd got the crucial opening goal. Hierro. Makelele. Jordi Cruyff is the for Alaves, but Real pushing forward again. This is Roberto Carlos. That's a much better cross and headed over. Well, they were openings there, and Guti was flying in. Figo with a strong run, and his shot hitting the inside of the post and coming back. 21 minutes gone. Hierro. This is Figo. Plenty of options forward. And Guti, and here's Raul. And the penalty, no goal. Great advantage from the referee there. The opening goal for Real Madrid comes from Raul, and the Bernabeu can now anticipate a 28th title. Well, don't discount the touch from Guti, because he made that. Raul goes in, chips the keeper, probably brought down, and despite Dan Egan trying to rush back, he couldn't stop it going in. Raul scores. Alaves behind, Real Madrid lead. Now they're pressing forward again. Raul. And Guti! He was onside. It's 2-0. Real Madrid are on their way now, surely. Although Liverpool did lead 2-0 against Alaves, but that was in Dortmund, and this is in the Bernabeu. And this is on a night when Real Madrid could easily now confirm themselves as La Liga champions. Perfectly weighted cross, simple header. And joy from all parts of this magnificent Bernabeu Stadium. Roberto Carlos did well here. Guti, still Guti. Great play from Real, should have been 3. Well, that would have clinched it, would have been a second on the night for Raul, but Real Madrid in complete control. Well, Guti's had a fine first half and feeding Raul and over the bar. Little flick forward at Tomic. We haven't seen too much from Alaves. Well, Oscar claiming. Now there might be a yellow card here. Certainly the goal won't stand. Let's have a look and see what happened here. Well, they were claiming that there was a late challenge there, and he couldn't believe it. Makaleda came in. So Real Madrid with a 2-goal advantage. One more and there'll be no comeback for Alaves. Figo to take the corner. Plenty to aim for here. 11 is Savio. And there's Hierro! Well, what a moment to get your 100th goal for your club on a night now when Real Madrid are surely confirmed as Spanish champions. A very special moment for Hierro, who's somewhere underneath that pile of bodies. 3-0 to Real Madrid, and watch Hierro. Well, he wasn't picked up, and at this level that's a free header, but it's a good header as well. Savio. This is Figo. Still Figo. Great running from Figo. Helguera. So easy. 4-0. And there's still over 20 minutes to play. It's fiesta time in the Bernabeu. And now the championship trophy will surely be theirs for a 28th time. The 2000 European champions are now the 2001 Spanish champions. Oof, hits the post. And an opportunity there, that was Jordi's header. Jordi Cruyff's flashing header against the post. Well, it would have only been a consolation. He scored in the UEFA Cup final. And he says he doesn't want to remember the final result, 5-4. So 9 minutes to go. Figo. Oh, Raul! It's his second, and he makes it look so easy. And certainly not a hint of a hand involved either. Real Madrid cruising here against the UEFA Cup finalists Alaves, who've been one of the surprise packages of the season, particularly in Europe. But Real Madrid have completely dominated tonight. Jordi Cruyff, there it goes, the final whistle. Alaves suffering's over. Real Madrid are La Liga champions for 2001, and they've done it with a bit of time to spare. A couple of weeks still to go in the Spanish season. They can't be caught now. And joy for Real Madrid. And a special night to do it at home. Well, I remember when they won it 4 years ago, they actually clinched the title against Deportivo. How ironic that was. And 4 years on, thanks to this 5-0 scoreline, Real Madrid have won the league again. Well, after the match, Eurosport caught up with some of the stars, beginning with Roberto Carlos. The team has played well all season long. We only lost a few matches, especially
So the title race was over for Deportivo, who started the day in second place, but Irureta's side still needed the points to be sure of that runners-up spot to avoid Champions League qualifying. It didn't go their way, but poor defending had an awful lot to do with that. Caminero with the lob. Manuel Pablo deflects the ball to Cavides, who makes his fourth goal of the season. That was 43 minutes into the second half, 4 minutes past the hour, and further disaster. The pass from Heinze to Fernando Sales, who made it 2-0 and only his third strike of the season. Deportivo did get a goal back with 14 minutes remaining. Turu Flores, and what about that for a finish from Roy Mackay with his 14th strike of the season. It wasn't enough though on the day. A desperately disappointing showing this by Deportivo, and they're still not assured of that runners-up place. Well, Racing still hoping to take advantage of any European hangover suffered by Valencia after their defeat to Bayern Munich in the Champions League final on Wednesday. Valencia need the points, though, as they bid to stay clear of Mallorca and Barcelona, and again scrap for a Champions League place next season. Santander, though, taking the lead. 48 minutes gone. And simple, always the most effective. Man it into Melberg's cross, and Mazzoni with a header. Now, it was very quick. It was right on 90 minutes that the equalising goal came. The cross to the head of John Carew, and the goal, his 10th of the season for Gaika Mendieta. Final score, 1-1. Mallorca emerged from a mini-slump to win their last 2 games and stay in pole position for that last Champions League qualifying place. Rayo, by contrast, have played themselves back into relegation danger. So once again, an awful lot to play for here today. 1 minute had gone before Mallorca took the lead. What a great cross that was by Novo, and Etu getting his 8th goal of the season. Great build-up play here. Ngonga to Etu, and look for the run there of Finidi. And that's his 4th goal of the season, and Mallorca cruising after just half an hour, 2 goals up. Straight out of the set play manual comes goal number 3 on 37 minutes. Again, the free kick by Carreras, and Etu with his 9th goal of the season. I'd seen Mallorca would go on to score at will in the second half, but the defence of Vallecano tightened up somewhat, but not tight enough. 90 minutes. It's deflected to Riera, who makes it 4-0. Tributes were laid before today's match in Barcelona in memory of Javier Orita-Cochea, the Spanish and Barcelona international goalkeeper, who died in the early hours of Thursday morning in a car crash. He was just 49 years of age. On the field, it was another terrible performance from Barcelona, who needed to pick up as many points as possible from their 3 remaining games to give them a chance of claiming a place in the Champions League qualifiers for next season. Kluivert was back. It didn't really matter. The goal scored after 46 minutes, the cross from Panovic to Jamet, who got his 3rd of the season. Now, there were chances and there were calls for a penalty there, but it was Luis Enrique who would eventually get a red card. And you can see why just here as he comes over. Just watch the kick into the stomach of Anotko, and the referee, no hesitation whatsoever in red carding. Fran de Boer, not been a very good couple of weeks for him, and it wasn't on the field of play either today. Barcelona struggling in every single department, and this was as good as it got. Another home defeat and more embarrassment heaped on the Catalans on the day when the championship was won in Madrid. Celta Vigo are well placed to secure a UEFA Cup slot for next season, but they were hit by the absence of Valery Karpin, who picked up a 3-match ban for his sending off against Numancia last week. Now, Edu pushed in the area by Yanni, and a quite clear penalty. And from the penalty spot, Gustavo Lopez hits it straight onto the post. Tried to be a little bit too cute then, Lopez. They would get their own back though. The cross of Lopez and an own goal by Alvaro after 51 minutes. It was the only goal of the game, and it's good enough for Celta Vigo. They win by 1-0.
Say Fuji!
Fuji! Makes every picture a happy picture. Fuji Color Superior. Extra quality with a unique fourth color.
A capacity 73,000 at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin on Saturday night to see if they could witness one of the big upsets in the history of German sport. Schalke against Union Berlin. Schalke, the Bundesliga's second-place side, who so closely ran Bayern Munich to the title, losing only in stoppage time at the end of last week. Union Berlin, who guaranteed a UEFA Cup place because of Schalke's qualification for the Champions League, and they made a lot of the running in red and white and the red shorts against Schalke, the hot favourites in a highly contested German Cup final. Schalke haven't won the German Cup since 1972, but it was Union Berlin who had a lot of the early chances, and a chance early on for them, foiling to their best opportunity. Korniov having a shot from some 25 yards. Then came one of the most dramatic moments of the first half, a big opportunity, the ball hitting the post from Issa. Harun Issa, who had a fine first half, and this was a delightful move. Issa with the shot from the right foot curling, and he had Oliver Reck beaten, and it was definitely the best opportunity of the first 45 minutes for Union Berlin. Schalke, who, as I said, were second in the Bundesliga, having a team bolstered by Andy Moller, wearing 7, and Moller creating his own space before hitting just wide, with the best opportunity for Schalke. Leading scorers this season, Emil Mapenza with Abe Sand, both involved in Schalke's next effort. This time, Haito forcing a great save from Sven Boykott. Union Berlin still believing their dream could be on into the second half. And Nicole with the opportunity, Durkovic with the shot, and once again Schalke rode their luck. Durkovic very unlucky with a great crisp drive that could so easily have given the amateurs of Union Berlin the lead. Ronnie Nicol with a shot, but what about that? Great effort from Durkovic, and a bit unlucky. 51 minutes played, and the game was to turn dramatically. Penza brought down, and an opportunity for Jörg Boma with the free kick, a real beauty. Schalke taking the lead, and Boma was to cap a great personal weekend of triumph as he's been called up into the German national squad for the first time. This is as good a free kick as you'll see. Watch it closely. They don't come any better than that. Well, after 57 minutes, 1-0 was to become 2-0. And there was no surprise that Schalke completely took the game. The only real surprise was that they had to wait so long for a second. And Penza brought down. And Boycott perhaps lucky not to see a card. Emil Mapenza going past and getting caught. And so, moments after scoring the first, Bouma makes it 2. Jörg Bouma, 2 for him, 2 for Schalke. And 1972, when they beat Kaiserslautern 5-0, was the last major triumph in this competition for Schalke. They have won a UEFA Cup, famously beating Inter Milan on a penalty shootout since. But Union Berlin felt that they didn't really have the rub of the green in this final. One more really good chance for them came 5 minutes from time, and again it was the impressive Durkovic who had it. Nice little ball inside as well. Durkovic on the swing and really bringing the best out of Oliver Reck. But the Union Berlin parties, they'll be qualified for Europe for the first time. They did win the East German Cup back in 1968, but weren't allowed for political reasons to take their place in the Cup Winners' Cup that season. So they'll be representing Germany in next season's UEFA Cup. But it's Schalke who've won the German Cup. And there were some tremendous scenes in the stadium at the end of what had been a German Cup that went the way of the form book. Andy Moller.
Also ich muss sagen, es bedeutet...
Well, what was supposed to be the day that PSV celebrated winning the League and Cup double ended in embarrassment for Holland's team of the season against what had been the least successful FC Twente team of the last decade. PSV, who'd only been beaten by one team in the league all season, De Graafschap on the opening day fell into the well-known trap of believing their own publicity prior to kick-off. Best chance in the 90, that was it, coming from Scott Booth, who's enjoyed something of a renaissance in his career. Now that free kick by Van Bommel, the header from Hofland, and that was as near as PSV had come inside an hour. Van Bommel just signed an extension to his contract, which will take him up to 2005. Ruud van Nistelrooy was in the side but didn't enjoy much possession in the opening 90. That was an attempt by Arnold Brugink. But his season has drifted somewhat, and Van Gaal has just dropped him from the Dutch national squad, which assembles this week. 90 minutes is up, so into the golden goal. And a chance for Ruud van Nistelrooy in his last match in PSV colours. Not a good day either for Jan Vennegoor, who was supposedly out to impress Eric Gerrits with a view to a move to PSV in the closed season. Now Brugink and Kezman were off. John de Jong and Jonas Kulka were on. Now, was this a penalty? It was the second call of the afternoon for PSV. And the shot finally coming in from Dennis Rommedahl. And so that was it. We were into penalty kicks, and this was the score at 3-2. If de Jong scores, PSV win. Sander Boschke saves. Ronald Vartrus, the goalkeeper, somewhat incredibly stepping up to take the next PSV kick. And with the fifth penalty gone, it was 3-3. It was then Hulshoff who scored for Twente to make it 4-3 to FC Twente. Remember, 3-1 down they were. PSV needing just the one penalty. It was the substitute, the Finn Kulka, who took the final penalty kick, and it was saved by Sander Boschke. Fred Rutten, the FC20 coach of this season, who's given his entire career to the club as player, junior coach, and now the head coach, leaves after this match today, and he goes, believe it or not, next season to PSV Eindhoven, where he will coach the youth team. A real upset then in the Amstel Cup final. FC20, the first time since 1977, lift the trophy. Well, Sparta were already condemned to the relegation playoffs. Vitesse in fifth, one of 4 teams in with a chance of qualifying for the UEFA Cup. A win, therefore, paramount. Vitesse unbeaten in the last 7, off to a bad start. 10 minutes gone, Lagerac getting his 5th goal of the season. Now, penalty kick. First moment of controversy. The foul on Lagerac by Van Hintem. Not a great decision by the referee there. 3 minutes from half-time, Bukhari with his 3rd of the season, and Sparta 2-0 up. Well, Vitesse already thumped Sparta 5-1 earlier on in the season. They were highly confident of victory here. 1 minute before half-time, the shot from Abamba, a vital goal just before half-time, his 3rd of the season, getting Vitesse back into the game. Into the second half then, 66 minutes gone, Sikora's shot, and it's 2-2. They're unlucky not to take all the points here. Bob Peters with the last man to touch the ball there, hooking it in. The goal, though, disallowed by the referee, and the final score, 2-2. The Stormclads have been gathering with force over the Amsterdam Arena as Ajax, a point behind 3rd place Roda, look to have given away the chance of Champions League football. They needed a win here and just had to hope that RKC lost their game. 22 minutes, Van der Vaart with his 6th goal of the season. The lead didn't last long, just 4 minutes to be precise. Butata going alone. And Grim was exactly that in the Ajax goal. Well, Adrianza under real pressure, not only from the media and fans, but his players as well. 4 minutes after the equaliser, it was Van der Vaart with his 7th goal of the season. 52 minutes and a soft goal given away by AZ. The free kick from Andy van der Meijden, only his 3rd goal of the season. Disappointing season for van der Meijden since his arrival. 7 minutes later, what a great cross this was from Pius Ekidia, and onto the head of Shota Arpelanta for his 18th of the season. He's been a real thorn in the side of every defence he's played against since his recall to the side about 6 weeks ago, Ekidia. And 71 minutes, Timmer not in a good position again. Sat on his backside as Van der Gun rounds him to score his 9th of the season. Louis van Gaal applauding in the crowd. And Ajax winning by 5 goals to 1. All eyes on Roda. Roda in 3rd would qualify for the qualifying rounds of the UEFA Champions League if they won. RKC could qualify for the UEFA Cup if they won. Hugendorp, he took a great time to get his 17th goal of the season. Just 9 minutes had gone. RKC in the yellow, getting the early advantage. The advantage stretched still further. 27 minutes gone this time. Redden's cross, and not a bad strike for a right back. Lame with the goal, 2-0, and RKC looked on course. Well, both teams have enjoyed exceptional second halves of the season. Roda losing just 1 in the last 15, RKC 2. And could you believe it, it was 3-0 as Redden got his 5th goal of the season as Roda simply went to pieces. Then, though, we got the comeback. The cross from the right from Anastasiou, and the goal is 5th of the season for Lawal. Martin Jol You may remember from his time in England, the coach of RKC, who's leaving to go to Henk in Belgium next season, and Roda back into it on 90, but it was too late. Lawal's goal, 3-2 the final score. And finally to Utrecht, who'd lost just 1 in 12 and were themselves contenders, albeit outside contenders, for the last UEFA Cup place. Their problem was goals. They needed to score 4 in a victory to overcome Vitesse. They did slightly better. 2 minutes gone, 1-0. The long ball to Jean-Paul de Jong, who's passed to Glucevic, and he scores his 17th of the season. 14 minutes, it was 2-0. As Van Mol, the former PSV player, getting his second. Now the goalkeeping embarrassment of the day coming up. Watch the cross here of Van Kuijten from the wing, was deflected by Janssen, and it all surprised the keeper. Buchenkamp left with a large amount of egg on his face. The half continued to improve. They needed 4, they got the 4th 5 minutes before half-time. The shot from Kuit deflected by the defender to Van Mol, and it's 4-0. Into the second half, 53 minutes gone, number 5, the cross from Glucevic, the head of Koi, and Tanguy dribbles past the goalkeeper. Well, Koeman of Vitesse and Dick Jol of RKC were incredibly angry after this match of the performance given by Groningen, as goals difference was so sensitive in this match. And the match was rounded off in the 57th minute. The 6th goal deflected into the path of Glucevic, who scored his 18th goal of the season. The final score, Utrecht 6, Groningen 0. Well, unfortunately, more
lower leagues in France. Strasbourg themselves looking to try and reach the UEFA Cup after a disappointing season, and what a disappointing cup final this turned out to be. There were chances, very few of them, and if anything, Amiens had the better of it. Strasbourg with Corentin Martins providing their closest opportunities, the captain, and going close here against Julien Lacour, the Amiens goalkeeper. One or two of the Amiens supporters with moustaches trying to epitomise the coach, but a big miss here, and Rivenet may look back on that one as an opportunity when he could have won the cup for the outsiders. But there really were a few chances. Dennis Troche, the coach of Amiens, knew that was a big opportunity and a big miss for them. But then the closest Strasbourg came was this incident here. There was a lot of confusion inside the penalty area. Fine save in the end from Julien Lacour, and it was to be 0-0 at the end of 90 minutes. Chilibert, the Strasbourg keeper, hadn't been tested too much, but he was to have his moments, and what could have been the decisive moment in the match came 9 minutes into the first period of extra time. It's a free kick to Strasbourg, and who would come up and take it but the Paraguayan Chilibert. The Stade de France waited. Chilibert fancied his chances and was only just wide. Chilibert showing his frustration. He could have won the cup for Strasbourg, but knowing, I'm sure, that the goalkeeper would come into his own if we indeed were to have a penalty shootout. Amiens, though, could have won the cup themselves, and a really great opportunity, and so close to Peter Saint-Preux. Another opportunity for him, and Saint-Preux again just couldn't get there. So a penalty shootout, and it was 3-3, with Chilibert having to face the penalty of Apollo. He saves, and now advantage very much with Strasbourg. Dennis Schrock, the Amiens coach, knowing that this was his big moment, and just now having to wait as the 10th penalty at 4-4 for Chilevat. This to win the cup for Strasbourg. The goalkeeper who made the save now scores the goal, and Strasbourg succeed Nantes as the French Cup winners and earn themselves a place in the UEFA Cup next season. It won't be a French Cup final that will be remembered for too much good football, but once again, like Calais last year, Amiens had gone so far, but Corentin Martins accepted the French Cup, and Strasbourg won a penalty shootout after a goalless 120 minutes in the French Cup final.
Boavista, of course, won the league last week and had hoped to end the season on an even higher high by beating city rivals FC Porto at the Desantas. It was, though, an expectation too far as a week of partying and celebration took its inevitable toll. The opening goal after 10 minutes, great move involving Pavlin Capuccio, and finally ending for Deco, but a bit of a mistake from Ricardo in the goal. 1-0 then after 10 minutes. 7 minutes later, goal number 2 went in. Same man, the Brazilian Deco, who doubled his goals tally for the season here today. 4th and 5th goals for him then. And then just 1 minute before the half-time interval, Capuccio finds, yes, Deco again, and he makes it 3-0. Only scored 3 before today, ended the day on 6. Got worse for Boavista as well in the second half. Look out for the header here of Jorge Andrada, and the eventual goal of Ricardo Silva after 63 minutes, only his 3rd goal of the season. And the season itself ending in the sun on a high for Porto. But the season, in truth, belongs to Boavista. Well, despite finishing in 3rd place in the table and being in the cup final, the season has been a bit of a disappointment for Sporting. What they needed to appease unhappy supporters was a performance of both style and substance to end the season. They got neither in this dress rehearsal. Pedro Barbosa getting the only goal of the game, his 7th of the season after 6 minutes. This game, as he said, a test run for the cup final on June the 10th. Sporting already qualified for the UEFA Cup. Maritimo will qualify regardless of the result. There we go.